Here we are at the customer's home. The customer has asked us to refinish all of the trim pieces around that back wall, the blue wall. So we're going to be working on the case, the base board, and also the apron and the stool on the window. What we're going to do is we're going to sand and we're going to refinish it. So we're going to disturb that painted surface. Now, due to the age of this home, we're just simply going to assume it's lead paint. We've already passed out the Renovate Right brochure to the homeowner, and we already have a signed confirmation back. At the end of the project, we're going to give them the lead test check form, and we're going to have assumed circle down there. They will get that at the end. We're also going to give them the post-renovation report at the end. I have my assistant here with me today.
Hi, I'm Josh. I'll be assisting Scott in this project.
Now, this job is going to be paid for with the homeowner's private money. So there's no federal funds involved in this particular project. The first thing that we need to do is to cover or remove all of the objects out of our work area. Now that we have all of our items out of our work area, we're going to look in our work area to see if we have any heating and cooling registers that we need to deal with. You can see right below the windows we're going to work on, we have a heat register that we need to cover up and seal so no dust gets down in there. We don't have any cold air returns that we need to deal with in our work area, but it is a best practice to turn the heating and cooling system off so the blower doesn't kick on and blow that dust around the room. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to cover our work area floor with plastic 6 feet out from the area that we're going to disturb. You can see Josh here, he's taping across the front of our work area so the plastic doesn't move around when we walk on it. It makes it a little safer. You can also see that it goes up the walls. We couldn't get 6 feet beyond this area here, so we just turned it and ran it up the wall to get our 6 feet beyond our work area, so we're totally contained. We've now got our floor plastic in, and we're going to go to the windows. In our work area, we have to look for all windows, doors, cabinet doors that might open when we're working. So these windows back here, they're openable windows, so we have to close them and seal them off. We're just going to put plastic over the whole window because it's easier to clean up afterwards. You could just tape the jamb all the way around the window, but this is just a little easier to clean up. Now, if these windows were fixed and they didn't open, you really wouldn't have to seal them off because they can't open, but these windows can open, so we are going to seal them. The paint that we're disturbing in our work area is back here. We only really have to contain 6 feet out from the back wall to where we're going to stop our work area. This cabinet is actually outside of our work area, but we're still going to seal it up just for good, safe, best practices. Now we have our floor protected, we have our cabinet, we have our windows protected. Now we need to set up a barrier to stop the homeowner or any other person that might want to come see what we're doing. So we're just going to set some cones up to create a little walkway that we can walk through here. Then we're going to run some caution tape over to the walls from each side, and we're going to hang some signs up so we can see what's going on, and we're actually going to tell people to stay out. Now Josh will grab the signs. There's 2 signs here. One of them says warning. That's an OSHA sign that we have to put up. And the other one is just telling the occupants to stay out. So we're going to hang both of them so we're compliant with all regulations, OSHA and EPA. So we'll hang each sign here and here. What I have here is called a tack pad. It's sticky. What will happen is we're going to tape this down right here. So once we start working and generating dust in our work area, we're going to walk across this and it'll take the dust off our shoes when we walk out. So we're going to tape that down to take the dust off our shoes. And when I say seal, you could be using duct tape, you could be using blue tape like we're using, masking tape works. Really anything that'll seal the plastic, seal the windows is just fine. We have our containment completely set up. Now we're ready to start doing the work. We have to protect ourselves with protective clothing, so we're going to put on our safety glasses when we're actually doing the sanding. We're going to put on some shoe covers to cover up our feet, and we're going to wear these suits to keep the lead dust off of our clothes so we don't track it home or track it into our vehicles. We're in our protective clothing now. You can see we have gloves on, we have our protective suits on, we have shoe covers on to keep our shoes or our suits clean, so if we want to leave the work area, we can take the dirty shoe covers on as we go out and we won't track any dust out. We've got our safety glasses on, so we are ready to go to work. Josh is going to go back and he's going to mist everything he's going to sand. He's going to get it wet, so we're actually going to wet sand this stuff, and then he'll come back and he'll sand it off. If he builds up too much of that mud dust that he's working on, he'll take the vacuum and he can vacuum it off and suck it up. That's why it's good to have the vacuum in the area. Want to try vacuuming some there? So he'll take the vacuum and vacuum some of it off real quick. If that doesn't help you clean it up enough, you could also come back with a wet wipe and clean that area up. Now, we are cleaning while we're working, and you will also notice that we are not wearing respirators. We are keeping the dust lead level low enough in here that we don't have to wear a respirator. That's below OSHA's action level. And by using all these wet processes and keeping everything very clean, we can help keep ourselves out of a lot of that respirator type work and a lot of that stuff where we'd have to have cleaner air to work in. Now, we have done an air monitoring sample for the exact same kind of work as we're doing right now within the previous year. So we do have air sampling data that proves that this process does not create an air quality level that's higher than the action level or even the permissible exposure limit. That's why we're not wearing respirators when we're actually working with lead paint. We're done doing our work now, and any big trash that we have, now's the time that we would bag that big trash up because we're going to start cleaning this area. What Josh is doing is called goosenecking. He's going to twist that bag up until he's got 6 or 8 inches all twisted up. Then he's going to kink that top over, break that goose's neck. He's going to tape it up so that bag is completely airtight. Then he's going to pick it up, he's going to look at that bag and make sure it's clean, so when he takes it out of the work area to our secured storage area so nobody can get in our trash, he's going to make sure it's clean, he's going to make sure his shoe covers are clean, he's going to make sure everything's clean so we don't track any dust out of our work area. We have our big stuff bagged up and taken out of here. Now what we're going to do is any of the larger dust piles or dust on the floor, we're going to vacuum that up so when we take this floor out of here, we have less chance of spreading it around. As we clean up our workspace and we vacuum all the bigger piles of dust and the dust off the floor, there's going to become a point where our suits and our gloves and our shoe covers are dirtier than what we're going to be progressing forward to clean. So when you take this plastic floor out, which is one of the next things we're going to do in our cleanup process, it's a good idea to do what we call a dry decon and vacuum off your suit and get your suit nice and clean, and then we're actually going to take the suits off and all of this stuff gets thrown away as trash, and then we'll take the floor out right after that and we'll go into our final cleaning steps. So here's the work area is now cleaner than our suits are, even though we vacuumed our suits. So now we're going to take our suits off to progress into final cleaning. Now we're going to take the plastic floor out from our work area. Josh is going to mist the floor. What we're trying to do is any dust that we didn't vacuum up, we're trying to stick that stuff down. We're trying to stick that dust down with water. We're trying to create that wet tarp or wet tent effect. So when we fold this dirty side in, it doesn't puff. Now we're going to take this down off the walls, we're going to take it down off the floor, and we're going to fold it dirty side in. So we're going to bring it down on itself and fold it dirty side in, down on itself, in onto itself, dirty side in. Real easy so we don't stir up a lot of dust. Once it's all ready to go, then we're going to dispose of it as trash. We've now gotten to the final cleaning phases of our project. Josh is going to vacuum from the top down, meaning he's going to start at the top of the walls, he's going to vacuum those walls, and he's going to vacuum down, and then we're going to vacuum the floor out. He's going to use the same tool, which is the hard floor tool. You can see we got a little blue tape on there so it doesn't scuff the paint. Those flat paints that aren't really high quality can scuff fairly easily. Once we get to the floor, we'll take that off, and he'll vacuum his way out with the hard floor tool. you'll notice that our whole work area had a hard floor. So we used a hard floor tool to vacuum this area. If we were to have carpeting, we would need to use what they call a beater bar brush that's actually driven, and it has a beating brush in it just like your normal household vacuum would, but it hooks up to your HEPA vac that will drive it with air power. Everything we've been doing is with a HEPA vac filter in it, so even the smallest particles get captured. Now we're to the second part of final cleaning. We've vacuumed everything top to bottom. Now we're going to come back with wet wipes and we're going to wipe everything. Everything except the walls. You have a choice on the walls, vacuum or wipe. We chose to vacuum. So we're going to come in and we're going to start wiping stuff. And this means everything. We're going to wipe this windowsill. We're going to wipe the baseboard. We're going to wipe the cones. We're going to wipe the tape, the signs. We're going to wipe everything. If there's anything hanging off the ceiling, we don't have to touch the actual ceiling, but if there's any lighting or anything hanging off of there, we're going to wipe all that. Now you do have a choice. You could use a wet rag, but you got to throw all this stuff away. So wet wipes work very well. Any wet wipe will work. These are just any old baby wipe that you can use. They're nice because when they start to dry out, you can just throw them away. And you can see Josh, he's cleaning everything, wiping everything. That really fine dust is hard to clean up. That's why you got to go after it wet. Included in the wipe everything is clean the floor. We vacuumed the floor, but now we're going to wet mop the floor. We're going to use a wet mopping product. A lot of people will call it a Swiffer, but it doesn't have to be that brand. It's just a cloth on a foam head that you can mop the floor. You could use an actual mop in a bucket, but then you got to use the 2-bucket method. It's just more difficult. When the cloth on this gets dirty, you just take it off and throw it away and get another cloth to put on the head. And so it's an easier, quicker way to clean up. But he's got to clean the whole floor area of the workspace. As we're cleaning our work area, we have to clean 2 foot beyond where we put our barricade up. So we need to vacuum that 2 foot beyond. We need to wipe 2 foot beyond. We need to clean the floor 2 foot beyond. We're now fully cleaned up and we're going to move on to visual inspection. Josh is putting some shoe covers on. He's outside the work area and he's going to have a flashlight. He's going to put the shoe covers on and then he's going to come into the work area that is pristinely clean after we cleaned it up, and he's going to do visual and he's going to look to see if we missed anything. Did we miss any dirt? Did we miss any debris, any dust? And as he looks, he's looking very methodically. He's going to look from high to low. He's going to keep that light on there so he can see real well. He's going to turn on all the lights in the room so it's as bright as you can possibly get it. If he sees anything, then we got to re-clean that area. If he doesn't see anything, then we pass visual inspection. We're now at our last step that we need to do to complete our project, which is cleaning verification. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these cards that you will be issued at the end of your class, and we're going to look at the pictures. The top one is fairly clean and the bottom one is actually pretty dirty. What we need to do is we need to take a clean wet wipe and we're going to wipe that windowsill right there. And as he wipes that windowsill, he's going to get the whole windowsill nice and good. And then he's going to take that wet wipe and he's going to hold it up against his card, and if his wipe is the same or cleaner than the bottom picture, he has passed his cleaning verification and that area is clean enough to release back to the customer. Did we make it? We did. So we passed the cleaning verification for that area. Now we're going to go to the floor and check that. Now we're going to verify that the floor is clean enough. We're going to use the same cleaning verification card. We're going to use the same wet mopping product with the cloth head on it. We're going to do 40 square feet as a maximum per each head. This area is slightly larger than 40 square feet, so we would use 2 here. So Josh is going to go across. He's going to check the 40 square feet area. Then he's going to pick it up and he's going to compare it to the card. If it's the same or cleaner than the bottom picture, we pass. Let's see what we have, Josh. I would say we passed. There's a little bit there, but it's cleaner than the bottom picture. That now completes the cleaning process. We're ready to remove our critical barriers on the register and the windows that we put up so So the last thing you do is take those down to make sure that if something happened during the cleaning phases that nothing got out of our work area. So we'll pull down the critical barriers. We did clean those when we were in the cleaning phases. We wiped them and vacuumed them so they're clean. We're not worried about dust on them right now. So we're going to clean all that up. We're also going to pull the signs down, and we're going to pull the caution tape down, and then we're going to go find the homeowner, and we're going to release this workspace back to the homeowner now that it's been through the whole process, all the way through cleaning verification, where we verify that it's actually clean. And the very last thing that we're going to do before we leave our work area is we're going to grab our wet wipes and we're going to clean our hands and face so we do not track any lead dust home to our families.